thanks for joining me today, both of you
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
And so I'm going to start with the first question. What were some of your favorite movies growing up with, awesome Asian bad guys?
Uh, Die Hard, Alan Die Hard was awesome. He was also in Lethal Weapon. I mean, he's my favorite awesome Asian bad guy by far. He's the one that like I would always see as a little kid, and so just to identify kind of with like this mysterious dude, and then see him, and then to meet him and stuff has been pretty cool. We actually shot a video with him like this afternoon, so that was pretty fun.
You're talking about Al Leong.
Yeah, Al Young.
Al Leong, he's really easily recognizable because he's got the Fu Manchu long hair. And for me, Big Trouble in Little China is like the pinnacle of awesome Asian bad guys because there's so many of them. And there's even Asian good guys in it. And that's sort of atypical. You never would really see that. But Big Trouble in Little China definitely stands out as a cool movie from when I was young.
Well, next question. Aside from creating a badass film, what do you hope to accomplish with this? Do you hope to contribute in any way, like to kind of change how Asian Americans are viewed in mainstream media at all? Like, is there like any idealistic goal aside from just a passion project?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when we talk about, we want to, talk about bring together these Asian bad guys, people might think originally that we're doing like a documentary, and it's like exploring like the role of Asians in Hollywood from before. And we're not doing that because while that would be cool, it would also be, not as much fun. So
And it's not what we want to do. It's not our style.
yeah.
Right.
So we do want to tell the stories of these awesome Asian bad guys, and do it in a fun way. So that's why it's this action comedy web series. It's scripted, and we want to get their story out, but we don't want to do it by kind of hitting people over the head and saying, hey, back in the day there were all this
Right.
stuff. We want to make it fun and engaging. And what we want to do as well is kind of start a conversation about, wow, this is how Asians were portrayed, let's say, in the 80s, like 20, 30 years ago. This is what it looked like to be an Asian American, working
Right.
Asian American actor. You would get killed in every movie you were in.
Unless you're Bruce Lee,
Unless you're Bruce Lee.
but you're a good
Right,
guy technically.
Exactly. But, we want to say, hey, this is how it was before. How has it changed? How are things today? Or how are they also still the same?
Right. And I mean, wow, imagine if Bruce Lee actually lived. The face of like Asian pop culture would be really different. But I think also it's like, like you said, I mean, we're a little bit older than you, so it's like we grew up with these people and we kind of like eventually found out who they were, their names and stuff, just out of curiosity. And it's like there's people that recognize them, but then like let's kind of bring them, put the spotlight on them, not necessarily in this kind of like explain like the this didactic way of like Asian Am 101 type stuff, but in a way where it's like, oh, I recognize this guy. Let me find out a little bit more about them if I want to. Like people are really, really like every generation is more and more media savvy, so it's like you don't need to be like drilled in the head with like who these people are and the plight that they went through and whatnot. We're all aware of that, but at least like let's have some fun with it and like let's give these guys like their this kind of comedic moment to have,
Right. That's awesome. Cool. I mean, speaking of which, you guys have some, pretty talented professionals on board already.
Yeah.
Like Ali Young, obviously. Is there like a specific actor like you want to get into this project that's not involved with it yet?
There's a few. We've brought on a couple awesome Asian bad guys so far, but there's definitely more. We want to have more people like Bolo.
Oh, of course I know him.
Yeah. So Bolo apparently lives in Southern California, and we'd love to work with Bolo. We haven't figured out a way to reach him quite yet, but we'd love to work with Bolo. Have him be part of this. There's Kerry Tagawa, who
he was in Black Rain.
He was in
of other
Mortal
movies.
Kombat.
Right.
And George Chung. He was like in Rambo 2.
Yeah, he gets blown apart
Oh
by
yeah,
a grenade launcher or some kind of RPG.
It's like it's actually I think like a tipped arrow, right? So it's
Right.
like an explosive arrow.
Right.
nice.
If that's how you're gonna go out, that's a good way to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty unique. So
If you actually track down and like looked for awesome Asian bad guys, the list is really long.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
and there's tons, and like there's more. Like since we kind of like decided to go ahead with this project and bringing people on board, like other movies have come out, like where they're finally releasing movies like the Red Dawn reboot, and all the bad guys are like, well, they went from being Chinese to North Korean, and then movies like was it Wolverine? We're like,
It's shooting now.
yeah, it's shooting now, where all the bad guys are Asian, and even like I mean, not that it's like a big deal, because the Mandarin has always been like a character in the Iron Man like world, but him being played by Ben Kingsley, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's tons of Asian bad guys, and there's going to be more and more.
Well, that's a good point. Like, there's tons of Asian bad guys there right now. So, that kind of follows my next question. Who would you say is your favorite Asian villain of all time? I know you kind of touched on this, but who, if you could pick one, who would it be?
Let me think. Actually, okay. So, not talking about the actors, but just about villains. Storm Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good.
He's pretty
Storm
badass.
Shadow is so cool. Do you ever see what he looks like? I don't know.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
kind of like a mystery.
Yeah, but it's just like
Yeah.
and then like his costume was white.
Right.
And it was just like so cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean,
What about you,
mine
Patrick?
might be the James Hong character in well, kind of in Big Trouble in Little China, and then also in his little bit in Wayne's World. Is that Wayne's World 1? 2? 2.
It was 2.
With Tia Carrere. That stuff was just funny, like his whole kind of bit where it was kind of like a early 90s homage to the 70s kung fu movies, with
Nice.
with the ridiculous
Martial arts.
yeah,
fights.
martial arts, and like effects and the bad dubbing and all that jazz. So that might be one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. And like I was kind of doing a little bit of research on you guys and everything. You guys seem to have been getting a lot of support from Angry Asian Man. And
Yeah.
so, does he have any specific involvements with this project at all? Aside
He
from
does.
working-
He does. He's our executive producer for this.
Oh,
So.
perfect.
So Phil, so we've been doing these videos for about a year. We put out a video called "Awesome Asian Bad Guys" last year, and he was really into it, and a bunch of our other videos, and so we're all kind of like of the same interests, like 80s, 90s pop culture, nostalgia, movies, and Asian stuff on that tip. So when we kind of had this idea, we thought he'd be like a great person just to have on our team, and he's totally down for it, and he's been like awesome to have, just helping us get the word out, and just the support and the positive vibes. It's been we wouldn't be where we are right now like without his help.
Yeah, no, Phil's a great guy. Go ahead.
And yeah, he actually today he just changed his landing page on angryasianman.com, and it just
Says
awesome Asian bad guy.
It's just a big red page with our logo on it, which is
I
pretty
saw.
sweet.
I saw Phil's a great guy, so I mean, like Melanie and I know him personally too. So he's always been really supportive. of
Yeah,
the
for sure.
community and
Yeah.
whatnot. So that's great. And speaking of which, congratulations on reaching over half your target goal. I mean, like,
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
obviously there's a lot of support and everything, but amongst your friends and just like your friends in the community in general, like what's been the general feedback? Like, have you received anything? All those mostly positive. Have you received anything negative at all?
I mean, I think during this, no. I mean, not during this campaign. We're still it's still like relatively new, the whole project. We've been kind of developing it for only a few months, and then got put together a couple of videos, and then launched this Kickstarter. And what's been really interesting is like we thought initially, or at least I did, that it would really be just like people we knew in the Asian American community that would help support. But what's been really awesome is to just find like random people,
Right.
white guys who are not, Asian, who just see this and they're like, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing.
Right. And something that has been cool is like, this was kind of like how it started with starting like our Facebook fan page early on. It was like, oh, these are all people names I recognize, and then just like the Kickstarter, it started out that way, and now it's like a whole bunch of people. I have no idea who the hell they are, which is bloody fantastic, and we're really excited about that because we know that we're kind of all the work that we've been putting into it, all the help that we've been getting from everyone sharing it and putting it out there, that it's been paying off.
That's good. So as we know, this is a web series, right? And no, it's a comedy web series, and it's like you said it was a mashup between The Expendables and Dumb and Dumber.
Correct.
So I'm gonna kind of hit you with a curveball here. Do you think the film would be successful if it was just purely action film, and without the comedy element into it?
Sure,
maybe.
Well, the thing is, like, we do like comedy, and so it's kind of like our bent and stuff. If like somebody was like, oh, here's like X dollars, you're making an action thing. Yeah, we'd make it, but it wouldn't be like it wouldn't really have like our kind of flavor, our kind of like our mark on it. You know what I mean? If we took the comedy out of it, you know what I mean?
No, that makes perfect sense. Cool. All right. Many of the talents like you're starring have worked mainly in traditional media. Aside from your partnership with like PBS, are there any other reasons why you chose to make this into a web series instead of a feature film?
Yes. I made a feature before. It's called Mr. Sadman, and that thing, it took me like 8 years to do, from the time I put pen to paper to the time I actually got it onto iTunes and Amazon. And it just becomes like this huge albatross around your neck. And it was great. It was a great learning experience. And like, I'd love to do another one someday soon. But it's like, when we started doing these online videos last year as National Film Society, we just kind of realized, we got on to the online video because of the swiftness of it and the lightness of the production, the feel. And even if it's, even though like we will put as much work into this as we would a feature film, there's just like that kind of connotation and that vibe around it, where if it's a 5-part web series as opposed to like this feature film, where in people's minds sometimes it becomes like this larger thing, and there's certain things that you should do to get that made, you know what I mean? And this kind of contextualizes it differently.
For us, it makes it doable. When you say, oh, we're making a feature film, you're like, oh my God, it's going to be a huge thing. Mm-hmm. But when you say, oh, we're making a web series, it feels like, okay, yeah, like, let's do that. That's going to be fun. It just makes the whole thing to seem more fun and doable.
It also allows it to kind of grow organically too, with the lower budget.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it's shorter. Like the total length will be shorter than a feature film for this first chunk of episodes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Aside from all this, is there anything anything that we can look forward to? Any like surprises that we don't know yet? Like, do you have like let's say a talent that you haven't announced yet that just came on board, or do you have any exciting news to share? I guess that's my question.
The main thing is we are just making a really hard push over the next few days to get the word out on this Awesome Asian Bad Guys Kickstarter. It ends on Thursday, October 11th at 9 p.m. Pacific. And so between now and then, we're going to be doing a lot. We have a couple new videos coming out with Yuji Okamoto, we just put out today, and with Al Leung, who are our two main Awesome Asian Bad Guys. And the whole Kickstarter experience is crazy. It's just crazy because if we don't hit the goal, we're not going to get any of the money. So it's going to be fun to watch how this goes down.
Yeah.
Super stressful for us. A lot of entertainment for everyone else out there to see us do it. And we encourage everybody to check out the Kickstarter campaign and consider pledging their support to this project, because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and it'll be cool. We have 6 or maybe 5.5 days from now, up until, like Steve said, October 11th, and it's like every day we're going to be. I've been saying this for a couple days now. I'm just going to go out guns blazing, and we'll be, hopefully we'll get there. We will get there.
We will get there.
Oh, you guys will be fine. Yeah, I'm sure.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, great. I mean, well, thanks a lot for talking to me. I appreciate it, and yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Let us know if you need any photos or anything.